Sorry, who was
I
out?
can't hear you, Miss Judy. I heard you a second ago, but now it's gone. Try it again.
Who is not present?
We have Commissioner Coleman, Commissioner Martin, and Commissioner Clark present. Commissioner Norfleet and Commissioner Farnsworth are, we believe, running a little bit late. But we'll get them in if they Zoom in or live in. Okay, so we all in agreement to go ahead and get this show started? Yes. Let's see. It is. You want it off? How about now? Tim, just give me a head nod if you can still hear me. Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay, guys. Go ahead and call this October 19th special commission meeting to order. We're meeting at 6 p.m. Once again, we are still in a hybrid form of meeting, so you can Zoom in to us tonight. You can come to the commission chambers live. However you choose to participate, we just appreciate your participation. I have no changes to the agenda, and modifications or additions to the published agenda. So with that, I will ask for an approval of the agenda. I have a motion from Commissioner Coleman, a second from Commissioner Clark. Does the commission have any questions, changes, amendments to the agenda as it was published? Okay, then Dallas, if you would put our telephone number up for us, please. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the approval of the agenda tonight. We've just called the meeting to order. We have a motion properly seconded to approve the agenda with no changes. We are still in a hybrid form of meeting, which means that our YouTube watchers are about 30 seconds behind our live Zoomers. So we want to make sure we give plenty of time here to for everyone to catch up to us. If you'd like to call in and you think something should be on the agenda that's not on the agenda, or you think there's a problem on the agenda, now would be the appropriate time to bring that to our attention. The phone number on your screen will get you into the meeting. Once you're in the meeting, look at the bottom of your screen, you'll see a little hand symbol. Simply click that hand symbol and let us know that you'd like to address the dais. We'll make sure you have the opportunity to do so. By my clock, that's been right at about 30 seconds. So Dallas, do we have anyone with their hand raised?
No, sir, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, we'll go back for a roll call votes, but we have a commissioner just stepped out. Commissioner Clark, you're going to buy me some time. We will have to, because we're down to 3 commissioners, so we need to have him back in for a quorum. So we're just going to take a pause here. If anybody's heard any good jokes lately, now would be a great time to entertain the dais. I'm sure that Commissioner Coleman had to step out for a legitimate reason. That would be wonderful. Pastor, come on down and make us some announcements here. We'll just we'll take public announcements out of order night to get us the time we need. Do you see a little green light on that microphone? Is it on? If not, there's a very hard to see push button at the bottom.
Okay, I think it's on now. Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Gary Bracewell, pastor of Christian Life Fellowship Church here in Newberry, and it'll be my privilege in just a moment to bring the invocation. But while we were waiting, I thought I'd make a couple of announcements. We usually have a couple of fall events sponsored by CLF Church. We do a Light the Night, which is a neighborhood party in 3 of the neighborhoods here in Newberry. We've decided to change that for this year due to COVID and bounce houses and close quarters and things like that. So instead, there'll be a free outdoor movie at CLF Church on Friday, October 30th at sundown. And there'll be an opportunity for you to bring your own lawn chair, blanket, and snacks and enjoy a movie outside under the stars on Friday, October 30th. And then we are going forward with Thanksgiving in the Park, the Sunday before Thanksgiving. It'll be November 22nd, and it'll be at 11 a.m. And we will have an outdoor community service, as well as a meal and turkeys. We'll be passing out turkeys again this year. So you'll hear more about that, but you can go ahead and save those dates. October the 30th for the movie night and November 22nd, Thanksgiving in the park at Lois Fort Park. Thank you.
Those are two wonderful events. Don't go too far, Pastor. It's been my pleasure to participate in the Thanksgiving park the last couple of years, and it really is a great time. We appreciate all that you guys do to make sure that everybody gets a turkey on Thanksgiving. Now that we have a quorum, we had no public comment on the approval of the diet, so I'm going to go straight to a roll call vote. Remember, the motion on the floor, properly seconded, is to approve the agenda as it was published. Commissioner Coleman? Aye. Commissioner Clark? Aye. Commissioner Martin?
Aye.
Motion passed unanimously, and now it's my pleasure to invite Pastor Gary Bracewell from Christian Life Fellowship to the dais to give tonight's invocation. Folks, when we're doing a hybrid model, if you're Zooming, if you'd like to stand for the invocation, that's fine. If you'd simply like to bow your head, that's perfectly acceptable as well. We will ask you to stand after the invocation for the Pledge of Allegiance. With that, Pastor Gary.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Let's pray. Father, I just want to thank you for our community. Thank you for the city of Newberry. Lord, thank you for this opportunity to come together as a community to do business, Lord. And I know that you have ordained these leaders for this time to lead us in this business. And we just pray, as the Lord taught us to pray, thy kingdom come, thy will be done. Lord, we just ask that your will be accomplished in our community and in our nation. Lord, as we are just a couple of weeks away from an election, I just pray for your will to be done. We just seek your face, and we ask you to guide our country. We also ask you for healing in our land. Lord, I just pray that this virus would just go away, and that healing would come, and our nation would find physical healing as well as your guidance. So we trust you and we hope in you. Bless these, our leaders tonight, as they guide us, and we thank you for all of this in the mighty name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
I'm going to ask our Marine to
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor Gary. We appreciate you coming up here tonight and giving us those wise words. All right, folks, that brings us to public announcements. So, Dallas, if you would put our phone number back up. Ladies and gentlemen, your commission likes to hear from you, and they like to make it easy for you to address them. So at the beginning of every meeting, we set aside a short period of time for public announcements. We limit these public announcements to 2 minutes. These are generally the non-controversial kind. If you want to tell us about something that's going on in town, now would be a perfect opportunity to do so. If you're joining us from YouTube or on Zoom, the phone number that you've been seeing on your screen for the last few seconds will get you into the meeting. Once you're into the meeting, at the bottom of your screen, see a little hand symbol. Simply click that hand symbol. That lets us know that you'd like to address the commission, and we'll make sure you have the opportunity to do so. Dallas, do we have anyone with their hand raised?
No, sir, Mr. Mayor.
All right, and we will go on to our one public hearing and ordinance. And I would say to the commission, since we are down, I just heard the door open, so we might have a commissioner join us. Since we are down to 3, this was an item that we were looking to put in as a tool in our back pocket. And we've got about 2 weeks now before election day. I'm not sure that there's much we could do, even if you guys wanted to expend funds in the limited time that we have left. But we don't have a full diet, so I just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention, that we would we would need to just acknowledge the fact that we have a couple people missing who did weigh in on this before. All right, so with that, let's see, Scott, would you go ahead and read the ordinance into the record? This is second reading, but if you'd read it into the record for us while we reflect on all the comments that we've made before.
Happy to do so, Mr. Mayor, and I'll read this by title only. This is ordinance number 2020-26, an ordinance of the city of Newberry authorizing the use of public funds for purposes of litigating and advertising to educate and inform the electorate of Alachua County's proposed charter referendum, asserting the appropriate legislative findings as to the expenditure of public funds and the benefits accruing to the city therefrom, asserting that such expenditures will serve a proper public purpose, repealing all ordinances in conflict, and establishing an effective date. The appropriate motion is to pass ordinance number 2020-26 as read by title only.
Okay, so we have the ordinance read in on second reading. Mike, did you have anything to add in terms of a presentation to the dais from our conversation before, or are we still in the same boat?
Mr. Mayor, we are exactly in the same boat. No new development since our last meeting to discuss this item.
Okay, so this ordinance is specific to this ballot initiative. If this board chose to, this ordinance would allow us to expend some public dollars to educate folks on what this ballot is. And I got to tell you guys, I've been posting some videos. I don't know if you've seen them about the different growth. And it is clear that folks do not really understand what is in this ballot. There's an awful lot of confusion. I did see a commercial that the BOCC created. And it pretty much just said that there are 4 county ballot initiatives, and it went through them by title. It didn't say anything pro or con about them. There was some nice, seemingly pro-ish music playing in the background. But again, I'm not sure what we could do. I'm not in any way trying to discourage you guys from passing this. I think it's good to have this in our back pocket because something may happen tomorrow morning and we say, wow, we wish we had that. We need to go out and educate. But, you know, so I think this is a good idea. Clearly people are a little confused about what this ballot initiative is going to do. But we would, if you guys vote yes on this, we would either need to directly go into a conversation about whether we want to try to do something, which I'm not sure is a great idea with only 3 of us, or we need to have another meeting this week to discuss whether or not we want to do something. So that's kind of where we're at right now. Not a yes vote tonight doesn't expend any money. Nothing happens until you guys come back together and say, we need a commercial that explains this, or we need signs that explain it, that educate, and we want to spend $500 to go do that, or we want to spend whatever it is. So that's the summary. That's the gist of it. Thoughts from the dais. Commissioner Clark.
I can't hear anything that he's saying.
And some of the signage.
That's the 15,000 marker was the legal fight to fight. This is right. This is a separate issue. So this would be spending public dollars to educate people. So the vote to sue, we had discussed a $15,000 amount. This is completely different. So Scott's front moving on ahead, moving forward on that front. This front would be, do we want to create signs? Do we want to create a commercial? Do we want to go on TV and pay for a spot that allows us to educate folks on what this really means? But that's a different issue than the 15,000 legal front.
Okay. On this,
Mike.
Mr. Mayor, this is authorizing 2 things. This is authorizing the city attorney to litigate against the county. That's a suit. You've already given him direction. We didn't really need the ordinance to do this, but they had drafted that ordinance to authorize him to litigate over the legality of the charter amendment. The second thing was to educate about the, I guess, the facts associated with what the growth management charter amendment potentially means to residents, and get that out there. So 2-pronged approach. One didn't need to be in the ordinance, but it is.
So the inclusion was just an extra added just to cover the bases. I see Scott shaking his head yes. Good catch, Commissioner Clark.
Mr. Mayor, and the difference is you as the mayor or you as commissioners have the absolute right to say what you feel politically. So if you individually oppose this charter amendment, then you can write a letter to the editor, and I don't know if you commissioners, or I'm confident you, Mr. Mayor, have seen there was a letter to the editor, I believe it was last weekend's Sunday newspaper. And there was a fairly extensive local businessman from Newberry. He was a landscape nursery business owner. And he wrote a letter to the editor that basically opposed this charter amendment because he contrasted the responses and the oversight as to his business when he was under the county's umbrella in unincorporated Alachua County, and then when he petitioned to be annexed to the city of Newberry, how different the aspect of running his business, and how the city of Newberry really welcomed him with open arms. And as he was leaving the city hall, getting his business licensure, that sort of thing, basically it was good luck on running your business, and he felt very supportive. And so he contrasted the planning department's management of his business in unincorporated Alachua County as opposed to the city of Newberry. And that was the tenor of the letter to the editor. And you have the absolute right to do that. You have the absolute right to hold signs up, do whatever it is that you feel is necessary to take a position with respect to this ballot amendment that is going to be voted on November 3rd. Now, there's a difference in what this ordinance does, is it allows the city to educate the voters. And one of the tenets of the lawsuit that the city of Alachua has filed is that this lawsuit is based upon the fact that the ordinance, or the referendum and the ordinance that allows this to go on to the agenda, does not adequately educate the voter as to what specifically is being voted on, is the bottom line. Your mayor has mentioned that he's been, I've watched some of his social media postings, and he is attempting on his own to educate the electorate as to what this charter amendment does and what it does not do. And you have the absolute right to do that as an individual. What you cannot do as a city is advocate or say, vote no, vote against this. The city stands in opposition to this referendum. You cannot do that piece of it. But you certainly can educate the populace as to what this measure does and how we believe it is violative of home rule powers that the city enjoys.
Thank you, Scott. Is that clarify, Commissioner Coleman, you were reaching for the mic?
Yeah,
Yeah, you turn yours on, I'll turn mine off.
I'd say that from your original question, even though we got only 3 on the dais tonight, all 5 originally voted for it, and there's no money being spent. I say that we go ahead and vote on this and get it rolling. We don't have a whole lot of time. We only have 2 weeks right now, or 14 days, I believe it is, before the election. So I believe we need to go ahead and get this handled.
Okay, Commissioner Martin, just because you're Zoom doesn't make you any less. You got anything to say that we haven't said so far?
No, as I had said earlier, I don't mind the litigation portion. I just have a little bit of heartache with regards to spending money on the education side, because I've challenged Alachua counties doing that, and I don't want to be kind of doing the same thing. I think we can make a lot of headway through Facebook that doesn't necessarily cost us anything at all. I've been getting information from folks who are getting this out as well. And I think in the home stretch here, we have plenty of opportunity to try to do this without expending any funds. But I'm one person, and as far as I know, I was the only person that was showing any sort of objection to that portion of it.
Okay. And again, before anything else would happen, we would come back together and say, this is what we want to do. This is why we want to do it. And this is how much it would cost. So tonight is just giving you that as a tool. And I would say we decide whether we want to have that tool. And I think we could, we can figure that out the next couple of days. And if we need to, we'll come back and we'll have another meeting.
Mr. Mayor?
So Commissioner Martin, are you trying to say something?
It's, obviously the window is closing here. If there's any discussion for me to entertain, I will actually be out of town on Wednesday and Thursday by way of scheduling. If we can incorporate this and still have time to post it to the agenda for next Monday night's meeting, that may be the opportune time to try to take up any of that discussion.
Yeah, I think that will be fine. I can't think of anything that would precipitate us needing to meet earlier than that. But with this tool in hand, if there is, we'll call you up and we'll say, hey, we need to come back and have this conversation. Otherwise, we'll just put it as a conversation on for Monday night. Okay, so we have the ordinance on second reading read into the record. It sounds like the commission is ready to entertain a motion. I have a motion from Commissioner Clark. And a second from Commissioner Coleman. Any final comments or questions from the dais? Okay, Dallas, if you'll put our telephone number up. Ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of tonight's published agenda, our one public hearing and ordinance on tonight's agenda. We have a motion properly seconded on the floor to approve on second reading ordinance number 2020-26. If you'd like to address the commission on this topic, ask a question or make a statement, now would be the appropriate time to do so. All you need to do to accomplish that is dial the phone number on your screen. Once we have you into the meeting, on the bottom of your screen, you'll see a little hand symbol. Simply click that. That'll let us know that you'd like to ask the commission a question or make a comment or a statement. We'll make sure you have the opportunity to do so. Again, in summary, as we give a few more seconds for our YouTubers to catch up, tonight's ordinance would allow this commission to expend public tax dollars to educate the public on this item, on this issue. There is no plan right now to expend public tax dollars to educate the public on this issue. This just gives that tool to the commission. And that gives us a little over the 30 seconds that we need to kill. Dallas, do we have anyone with their hand raised?
No, sir, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, we'll go back for a roll call vote. Commissioner Coleman? Aye. Commissioner Martin?
Aye.
Commissioner Clark?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. And that takes us to comments. City Manager?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a couple of brief comments. We are in October, and we are celebrating breast cancer awareness. We're doing an employee photo. We asked the commission if they'd like to participate. We'll be doing that Tuesday, the 20th, which is tomorrow. I believe you all have shirts. Pictures are going to be taken at 8 a.m. So if you'd like to participate in that, please do. This is October the 24th, which would be this Saturday, is National DEA Drug Take Back Day. And we will be collecting, it's anonymous, any medications that you need to get rid of, dispose of safely at Newberry Fire Rescue Station number 28. That's Saturday morning from 10 to 2. We are also running on Saturday morning from 9 to 12 a Farm Sure event out at Easton. We're soliciting volunteers. I talked to Travis today. We're still a little bit short on volunteers. So if you know anybody that might be interested, any high school student, it's this Saturday. This Saturday comes up quick.
Yeah.
So that'll be again Saturday at Easton from 9 to noon. We need volunteers.
Do we have a flyer or anything posted so we can start sharing that?
I'll make sure that we get that pushed out to you if you haven't seen it. A reminder of the peanut butter challenge that that the city of Newberry is going to win in its first year in the event. So we'll be collecting jars of unopened peanut butter up until November 25th, so just before Thanksgiving. Every jar of peanut butter that is collected in Newberry stays in Newberry. So wanted to remind you all about that. Also, Friday evening, this is not a city sponsor, drop off at City Hall or Easton. This is not, and we'll make sure that all of these flyers get out to you. Not a city sponsored event, but this Friday, Friday night, the 23rd, we'll be hosting our first music event out at Tap Post Farms. His sister Hazel, who was going to headline Westfest for us, is they're running their own event. It's a drive-in event. It's a socially distant event. I believe they're selling tickets online, and I believe they're limiting capacity to 500 cars, if I recall correctly. Some are VIP. I know the commission looks like VIP kind of people, so make sure you rush out to get your VIP. It's a tailgate event. You'll be assigned a parking area. Bring some snacks, bring some sodas, bring some lawn chairs, and listen to a great band with Gainesville roots. Finally, Mr. Mayor, on October the 30th and 31st, which is Friday and Saturday, the American Legion is hosting a drive-through horror event. It's called the Legion of the Undead on Horror Road. So that runs
Flip
from
that
6 to
flyer
9.
around. Mike put it on after you finish reading it. Put it on the. You got it. Perfect. Yeah. See those? You're gonna see those flyers all over Newberry, folks. Perfect. Thank you, Mike.
Mr. Mayor, that concludes my comments. Oh, Mr. Mayor, I will be out of town the half day Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. If the commission needs me, please call me.
All right. Well, you hit everything I was going to say too. So, Commissioner Coleman, Commissioner Clark, Commissioner Martin.
No.
Okay, folks, we appreciate you joining us here tonight. I have no comments either, so we'll go right to public comment. Dallas, if you'll put our phone number up. Did I skip the clerk? I did skip the clerk and the attorney. I apologize. Madam Clerk, do you have any comments?
I do not. Thank you.
Thank you. Scott, do you have any comments?
Just real quickly, Mr. Mayor, we were directed to file a lawsuit against the county, and we did not file it yet. We were asked by both the city manager and the city of Alachua, as well as the attorney representing the city, to not file it at that juncture because they had an emergency or an expedited motion before the court. Their anticipation was that that may cause them problems logistically getting in front of the judge, because the county would surely combine those lawsuits together. And so it was requested, since we're all on the same side of the fence and trying to collaboratively work together to address this issue with the judge, it was requested that we not file the lawsuit. So we withheld doing that, and they did have a hearing on this. I believe it was on the 14th last week, and the complaint that the city of Alachua had filed was dismissed by the judge, but they have leave to amend. The matter is not going to be stricken from the ballot initiative because of the fact that voting is already underway with absentee balloting and that sort of thing. So the judge did not strike the matter from the ballot. If the vote goes against the measure, then that will end the measure. If the vote is approved, then the judge will have a hearing on the matter it's scheduled for November 24th, 2020 at 10 a.m. for 2 hours reserved in front of Judge Kine. So there is litigation. Our anticipation, I'm going to talk to probably Adam McCory, their city manager, as well as David Theriak, the attorney that is representing the city of special counsel to the city of Alachua, along with Marion Rush, who is their city attorney, and make sure that we're working together and collaboratively. I don't want to do anything that upsets the apple cart as far as their litigation is concerned, and I want to work together with them because we are, as I say, standing shoulder to shoulder with them and working collaboratively with them. We're trying to push the same issues that they're pushing. We want to certainly help them and not do anything that hurts them. So that's the status of where we're at right now, Mr. Mayor. My anticipation would be that we will be filing the lawsuit. We will probably be conjoined with them at some measure and hopefully be involved in that hearing on November 24th. So that's an update as far as where the litigation is concerned.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
And now, did I didn't miss anyone else? I apologize for that. Okay, now Dallas, we'll go to our public. We'll put the telephone number up. And while we're waiting a few seconds here to make sure the folks watching on YouTube are caught up to us in real time, if any of the commissioners have any questions for Scott about any of that, if there is no public comment or after public comment, we'll revisit that. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of tonight's meeting. If you'd like to make a comment, you have a question about anything that you heard tonight, now would be an appropriate time to do so. All you need to do is dial the phone number on your screen. Once we get you into the meeting, at the bottom of your screen, you'll see a little hand symbol. Simply click that hand symbol. Let us know you'd like to make a comment to the commission. We'll make sure you have the opportunity to do so. We got just a few more seconds here to make sure everyone has an opportunity. Dallas, do you have anyone with their hand raised?
No.
Okay, then we will go back. One last chance. Did anybody think of any questions for Scott before we adjourn tonight regarding the lawsuit or how this is going to proceed?